It's a scene so rare, if you're lucky to catch a glimpse, you'll never forget it. South Carolina is one of the few places in the world where dolphins strand feed. And Captain Sam's Inlet is a critical habitat one program is focused on protecting. Well, we'd like to welcome Lauren Rust, Executive Director for Lowcountry Marine Mammal Network. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And when we're talking about strand feeding, what exactly is strand feeding?
So it's this unique feeding behavior where dolphins essentially trap fish against a substrate, whether it's a sandy bank, a mud flat, a marsh, and they essentially push those fish onto the bank. They strand themselves momentarily, grab the fish, and then wiggle back into the water. And it's rare, it's definitely localized, and it's an amazing sight to see.
I've seen it once in my life since living here, and it's not just what you see, it's also what you hear, because those bodies of the dolphins, sometimes it's 6 at a time or more, just rushing up. They're pounding against the sand.
Right.
It's really such a marvel of nature. How rare is it, are we talking about? I mean, South Carolina being a unique place, but
yeah,
where else in the world can we see this?
It's been documented at least in fewer than 10 places in the world, South Carolina and Georgia on the Atlantic coast. Mm-hmm. But even with our local population, not all dolphins do it because it's passed down from mom to calf, so making it even more rare.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the issue over at Captain Sam's Inlet? So this is a place that is a particular habitat where this tends to happen more often than in others?
Yes, so it's an area that a small group of dolphins use to strand feed very consistently. So we see it on a daily, monthly, annual basis. And they're there sometimes for hours feeding, and it's become an attraction to people. It's accessible from land and from the water, and it's an area that they use to strand feed. And so it's important to protect it because we do have thousands of visitors come, and it's just becoming busier and busier. Mm-hmm. And because the dolphins are there so often, it's become a sight to see.
Oh, wow. So you've just said it. It's a very vulnerable spot. You've proposed a no-wake zone in that area. And what's been the response? Who oversees no-wake zones?
So we requested it from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Mm-hmm. So they manage the waterways. We do work from land. We do an education program, and both towns of Kiowa and Seabrook Island have some restrictions and rules they can instill from land, but from the water, it's the DNR.
It is. Okay, and what has been their response thus far to your request to create a no-wake zone?
So we requested it 2 years ago and asked them to reconsider it this year again to create a no-wake zone at Captain Sam's because of this vulnerable behavior. And their response was that no-wake zones are designated or given when boater safety is an issue. So areas like marinas and fuel docks where, a wake could injure a person or there's some safety risk.
Right.
And so that's been their response, and they've stuck to that, is that there's no risk to boaters in this area, and so a no-wake zone is not needed.
Okay, and so when we're discussing that it's not a threat to boater safety, but you say that dolphins are actually federally protected. So the animal itself is federally protected, but the ecology is protected by SCDNR.
Yes.
But if they're to oversee the protection of the land where these dolphins are feeding, then why is the boater safety issue even an issue?
Exactly. And we're asking them to, go outside the box a little bit and protect basically their habitat, so the water and actually the land, because they strand feed on the beaches. Protect that habitat for the dolphin's safety. But there is also, even though they're federally protected, there are laws saying so you can't harass a dolphin. And so boaters have the potential to basically, anytime they disturb a dolphin, feeding, resting, moving, it's considered a level of harassment. Mm. And so by creating a no-wake zone allows these boaters to slow down, reducing their chances of disturbing dolphins, which is what we see. The dolphins get disturbed, they dive, they swim away, they abandon feeding efforts, And so it's disturbing them from feeding. It's also disturbing, the people coming to admire and watch the behavior, but and so they can have a part in helping.
So you're not proposing no boats at all. You're just proposing people to sail at a slower pace.
Just slow down. Yeah, it's harder to see dolphins when you're going quick.
Yeah.
Dolphins are focused on feeding, so less maybe, focused on boats that may be coming in really quickly.
Yeah. And the impetus for you to want to protect the dolphins, had you heard of reports where dolphins were being injured because of boaters just going too fast?
Yeah, so part of what our team does is respond to sick, stranded, injured animals. And so they are affected by human impacts, whether it's boat strikes, entanglements, crab pot entanglements. We've just seen a few in the last couple of weeks. So there are, and even just boats going too fast and the risk of bothering them or injuring them.
Well, I'll tell you, we did reach out to SCDNR and they did respond, and they said, Greg Lucas, the department's public information officer, says, quote, "I'm writing on behalf of Major Gary Sullivan, and while we appreciate the offer to participate in an interview, we would respectfully decline, and many investigative hours went into the decision on Captain Sam's Inlet. That decision has been made, and SCDNR feels that it stands on its merits." Do you stop here? Do you keep pressing forward?
No, we're going to press forward. That's too important to the community and to the marine mammals.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us.
Thank you.
We're back after this.